been pretty happy with what we've been doing here card for card. So yeah, just to give a jump start in, as always, for people who are new, Aristocrats in Magic refers to decks that sacrifice their own creatures or cards for some type of value. In Standard, Aristocrat decks are usually headlined by this Priest of the Forgotten Gods cards, so sacrifice 2 other creatures to make them sacrifice something, and we draw a card and make some mana. Mayhem Devil rewards us for sacrificing things. Bontu sacrifices things to draw cards. Chandra gives us lots of things as a constant flow to sacrifice. We've got some cheap removal and interaction and reach. We've got a lot of cheap creatures that allow us to have some really aggressive curves while also being a little bit interactive. So let's go ahead and dive on into some matches here. This and Yarok Field are the 2 decks I'm kind of between for the Mythic Championship qualifier in a week and a half. So we'll figure out between now and then which one we want. The nice thing about playing digital Magic is I don't have to decide which deck I'm playing a week in advance. I don't have to, like, scramble to find physical Magic cards. Just get to, like, load up with the arena stuff I already have. Yeah, sounds great. We're on the play, too. I think I'm going to lead on Fanatical Firebrand here on the off chance they have a 1-drop creature with 1 toughness. If they play like a 2-1 or a 1-1, I want to Firebrand kill it and then play Dreadhorde Butcher so the Butcher can start connecting. I agree with your assessment that the casting cost is the biggest appeal to Footlight Fiend, but I think in terms of the effect that it offers, Grim Innate is the effect we would rather have. Smells like Scapeshift. SC Giants, thank you for the half-a-year support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I do not have any intentions of trying Bolas Citadel in this deck. Really don't think that solves any of our problems. Huh. So do I play this or do I play this? I think I just want to play this. They can play a 3-drop next turn. Is your current Yarok build with Thought Erasure on the website? I'd like to give it a spin when I get home. You can find it on the Stream Decker page, the deck list we played today. The one on my website still has Growth Spiral in it because I don't edit the things on the website with cards that I'm not certain are good. Sacrifice these. Get to play this. Get to play this. Get to attack you for 3. Need to fade Time Wipe this turn. They have untapped blue-white source. They can Time Wipe me. They don't have untapped blue-white source Time Wipe. They're probably pretty dead. Especially if we rip a red source and get to play this Chandra. No, I just swapped Growth Spiral to Thought Erasure, Marty. The Neoform felt a little bit underwhelming. Come eat pizza. Mountain. 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 They're still dead, right? The shock is lethal. Let's give him a little boop on the nose. Let's give a Johnny a boop. Just a should have shocked the Butcher to send a message. Yep. Two lands, don't care. No big, no big, no big. I don't think there's any obvious bad matchups, Bob. I think you just, like, have some bad draws like any aggro deck, but I think the London Mulligan just, like, made these types of decks better, right? You just, like, get to mulligan to your curve more often. I think I definitely want Tibalt. Is it crazy to cut the Bontus for Duresses? I think that's fine. I think your Esper matchup's pretty okay. Maybe I don't want these lightning strikes in my deck. Leave a shock and a couple of Bontus at the top end. Yeah, I don't even know that Cry's that hard to deal with. Oh, Strike kills Deputy. Good call. Strike is better than Shock. Thank you. The fact that we're not playing Judy anymore, and we're not playing Midnight Reaper, and we have Chandra makes you a lot more resilient to Cry than you once were. How long till the kiddos get home from school? So Jake doesn't start kindergarten until next week. I just wanted to move my schedule when I got back from Gen Con. So I'm going to be running over probably somewhat consistently for the next week and a half or so until Jake starts school. So they're still at daycare where they can stay till 5, and I think Christy's picking them up today, so. Should probably restart the client. It's choking real bad. You think we could talk them into playing poker? I feel like we should try and talk them into playing poker. I'm gonna bottom a Strike here. Strike or Innate? What do we think? I feel like it's Strike. It could be Grim. I don't know, I like having Grim if we draw. Nah, yeah, it's probably Grim. These decks have been playing a lot of Deputy of Detentions for the mirror. So I probably want to keep my way to kill a Deputy. That's true. It means that does mean we can kill a Grazer. You're not wrong. If you're into that sort of thing. If I don't draw another 1 or 2 drop here, I'm probably striking the Grazer. Speak of the devil, where? Sweet. And second strike drawn means that I don't have to feel bad if they have a Deputy, because I have another answer to it. Yeah, Strike's definitely much better than Shock. Well, I mean, this could be a game where they just, like, cast the 4-drop and, like, just naturally make 2/2s and we can't win. It's possible I want some Legion's End in this 75. It is possible I want some Legion's Ends in my 75. Yeah, because end is reasonable against vampires too, exactly. Hey, Sunko, thanks for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. It's a pretty good draw. Can work our way. Chandra lets us kind of work our way through their 2/2s here in a nice manner. Lets us keep Chandra plus Mayhem Devil lets us keep up with their fair escape shift plan really nicely. This blast zone's probably going to tick up to 3 here, I'd imagine. There's a land right on time. There's Duress right on time. I'm not sure I like Duress in this matchup. I don't know, Bunkler. That's why we play games to test things. If I knew the answer to that question, I wouldn't play games with it. So you can watch us play with Thought Erasure. You can go back and watch the VOD on Twitch now, or it'll be published on YouTube later tonight. It's really unfortunate that we didn't hit the land that turn, because if we'd have hit the land that turn, we'd have been able to play Bontu, obviously, and, like, kill some of these and draw some cards. And gas up through this. Now they're gonna crack this blast zone now. Which puts me out of stuff. And means the cracking the blast zone now means that even if I draw the land for Bontu next turn, the Bontu's just a lot less good. Alright, they drew a spell. It's a pretty good one. I'm not even sure I like Duress in this matchup. I feel like there's too many situations like this where it just comes off the top and doesn't do anything. Because they're empty-handed. Yeah, these are just like other things, like some number of legions end out of here. I feel like the fries in my sideboard might be unnecessary. I have Noxious to kill things like Teferi. All right. Hey, Johnny, thank you for the 6 months of support. Welcome back. Already shared it this month. Twitch is Twitch. Was Yarok a prob? I'm not sure. Your sentence isn't English for me, Snood. Are you missing a word in there somewhere? Because we played Yarok Field today, and we also played Temur Elemental, so I'm not sure which of those you're asking about, if you're asking about mixing one and the other. I think I just take the one of these things that's not like the others. You didn't submit a list with Yarok in it. The list I had linked that was submitted and in my queue did not have a Yarok in it. Although I'm not sure that Yarok really fixes any problems that that deck has, so I'm not sure why it would be a meaningful addition. We're probably Lightning Striking in Elvish Rejuvenator next turn. Just to, like, keep cranking this up. Hopefully they have to shock to play this thing. Perfect. Yeah, I don't know, like, I feel like most of the Risen Reef decks I play, like, already have a problem with, like, they accidentally deck themselves sometimes, and people keep wanting to, like, add more cards that just draw cards to them. I'm like, why are we just trying to draw more cards? These decks already draw so many Magic cards. It's like, if I play cards that actually, like, solve your problems. This is a really good card in their deck. sure, like, I understand the goal. Like, you need to stop asking yourself if you can do something and start asking yourself if you should do something. They have a Field of the Dead here in hand. We're probably done for. I'd encourage you to just watch the videos, dude. If you've drawn 40 cards to every one, you probably need to change something. Big agree. I think we're dead. Well, I mean, all things considered. The fact that these decks are playing a bunch of Deputy of Detentions now changes the dynamic of the matchup a little bit. Definitely makes our Dreadhorde Butchers a lot worse when they were previously very good. No natural field from them is good yet. Well, they could be sandbagging Escape Shift to go off with next turn. Yeah, Bontu would be a reasonable draw. Whenever you're in a position like this and have 5+ land, Bontu's just like always the best draw in your deck, right? Do they have a Growth Spiral or something, or are they playing in full control mode? They have like a Veil of Summer, maybe? They're down to 8. I have 5 power, so I think I'm out of Lightning Strikes. Yeah, we've drawn all 3 of them already. This is so annoying. Like, stop floating mana. Just cast your Escape Shift so I can concede. Yeah, let's restart the client really quick, and then we're gonna add some Legions onto the sideboard. I think the Escape Shift decks become popular enough that even if the matchup's okay on average, having a couple of Hoser cards for it is fine. These people are great. Buy their stuff. These people all so great. Buy and or check out their stuff. I feel like Lava Coil could maybe go. Nah, I like Lava Coil and Cruelty against vampires. Is 2 Legions enough? Is 3 overkill? 3 might be overkill, although I guess you could be aggressive and use it to kill. Take Grazers out of the way too. Yeah, cutting a Duress is probably fine. No, I'm not even sure I want to bring in Duress against Escape Shift, which means it's just there for the control decks. Escape Shift is like just like the Valakut decks in Modern that are miserable, where it's just like, you're just like hoping they don't draw their thing off the top. Declaration in Stone exiles creatures of any casting cost. So yeah, you're missing something pretty important. Ask! Thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. Hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday wherever you're at. Thanks for keeping me employed here this month with that. Gross. Grixis. That was a mistake. I missed a point of damage. I feel like part of the thing... No, I didn't miss a point, because if they go to shoot this, I just shoot them. It's whatever. I feel like part of the reason I'm probably going to end up on the Yarok field deck is I feel like this deck is a pretty medium random jank matchup. Like, I feel like okay in my ins and outs of, like, vampires and, like, these Scapeshift decks, but I feel like against, like, Grixis and stuff like this, I'm just like, well, I feel pretty dead. And I feel like even in something like an MCQ, Arena's got enough people that, like, play pretty casually and mostly just, like, play decks that they like, and there's so many different decks in this format that playing the deck that's just, like, has a little bit higher raw power level as opposed to just, like, hoping to run people down is probably better. Yep. I think that's a little bit reductive, Sunko. I think it's not just as simple as, like, you don't have priest and you lose. I think, like, Devil plus Bontu, like, at the core, this is a synergy deck. So, you're right, your deck is better when your synergies come together. But there are a variety of different synergies that are good beyond just priest and other things. I also think, from a psychological perspective, this is something we've talked about in the past on stream, is that decks like Black-Red Aristocrats feel worse to play than they are, and decks like Yarok feel better to play than they are. And the reason for that is, when the Aristocrats deck wins, the amount of time you spend winning is short, and when you lose a game, it tends to be long and miserable. And the inverse is true in the Yarok deck. When you lose with the Yarok deck, it's short and brutal and not memorable, and when you win, you build up this really impressive board, and it feels awesome. So, psychologically, the Yarok deck is more satisfying to play, which is why I think a lot of people are drawn to decks like Grixis and Esper and things like the Yarok deck, even when they're not good, because they feel satisfying to play. That in fact, is basically the entire reason people play blue-white control in Modern, in spite of it being unplayable. Yeah, Citrus got there right as I did. See, blue-white control in Modern. Here's the best piece of advice you will ever get on this channel, mate. Magic the Gathering has an incredible amount of variance in it, and if you don't truly enjoy the deck that you're playing, it is not worth it to play in a tournament with a deck that you don't truly enjoy playing. So, I find the play patterns of the Bant Scapeshift deck kind of tedious and miserable. I think everybody being aware of how the deck works and, like, having hate cards for your Scapeshift resolving post board makes it not a lot of fun. I think even when your opponents don't have interactive cards for it, the gameplay it generates is brain dead and boring. It doesn't keep me engaged or interested in the game that I'm playing. I didn't bother to play the best deck when I was setting hundreds of dollars on fire per weekend traveling around the country. If I didn't really like it, you better believe I'm not playing a best deck in a tournament that I get to play from my home. It's very one-dimensional. We've frequently described Red-Green Valakut as the least interesting deck in Modern. It's Red-Green Valakut in Standard. Dystopia, thank you for the 33 months. Welcome, welcome, welcome back. Goodbye, Felicia. I also happen to play Scapeshift in Modern. I mean, if you like Red-Green Valakut in Modern, you're gonna like Bant Scapeshift in Standard. It's the same deck. Hey, Grief, thanks for the 5 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. You can't program a computer to play Scapeshift in Standard. You probably could, honestly. It largely doesn't, a lot of the builds largely don't care about what the opponent's doing. You just want to, like, ignore them, make land drops, cast Scape Shift, attack with zombies. It's slightly less powerful in what Scape Shift is doing when it resolves, but, like, in an ultimate sense, it's very similar. Do I want Duress in this matchup? I feel like I might want Duress on the draw. Is that crazy? Sometimes we play Teferi and cast Scape Shift on your turn. Sorry. Apologies for misrepresenting your deck's position. I'll do my best to do better in the future. Like that, right? That was a great example of, like, that game we won, but it was just, like, brutal and fast and we ran them down, right? Yeah, and, like, that's the key to kind of, that's one of the keys to kind of brewing in Standard Kami Pizza, is you want to be playing the good cards, but you can put your own unique twist on what those good cards are doing, right? Like, we're still playing Field of the Dead, incredibly powerful card. We're still kind of a red aggro deck doing something low to the ground and aggressive. So I led on the Dreadhorde Butcher because winding it up tends to be pretty good. I also kind of want the Priest to live more than I want the Butcher to live. So, like, maybe if this Butcher dies, they don't have a removal spell for this Priest, you know, maybe. That being said, I think I'm actually going to go ahead and just play Chandra this turn. Because if they're holding up a 2-mana removal spell, they then don't have anything to kill this turn. If they play Bolas this turn, I'm a little sad, though.
Say hi to my fiery friends.
Just curious, how did I choose between Ebon Legion and the Diagonal Monkey? So, my opponent's deck is playing the card Dreadhorde Butcher in it, so I elected to play the Knight on 1, because I wanted to be able to block a Dreadhorde Butcher if my opponent cast 1 on turn 2. So it's usually context specific. Like earlier today we talked about playing against a deck that could potentially have a turn 1 blocker, so I led on Monkey in that instance because I wanted to be able to clear through that. So like most things in Magic, context is key. I probably want to kill this, right? It's not pretty. I have to, like, shock this, Chandra shock this, Fanatical Firebrand. It's like a 2-for-1 plus a Chandra activation. This card's just, like, really powerful.
Come on, Chandra.
The rest of, they're all down to 1 card in their hand, though. No, this is game 3. You can always tell what game we're in by looking at the little pips at the top and bottom of the screen. Yeah, it's definitely Chandra's hidden mode, right? It's like, Chandra's like, and for my next trick. And hey, like, if we draw a land here, right, this Bontu's gonna get to draw a bunch of cards. Not to mention that Chandra's just, like, attacking them for a bunch. Alright, land please. Land, please. Puppy! Is it crazy to sack the Chandra here? I feel like it's not. I feel like I want to sack the Chandra because they're just going to attack it down anyways. So, like, would I rather gain 4 life or draw a card? I'd rather draw a card, right? Read them to not draw an untapped land here. If they draw an untapped land, they can flip this over. That's a land. Fuck.
Witness omnipotence.
They're just gonna shoot this. Dreadhorde Butcher. Ha ha! Papi! We're still, like, in a bad spot, but, like, we have a chance now. I'm not saying it's a good chance, but it exists. Like, they're drawing 3 cards this turn.
I know what must be done.
All right, hopefully they're on a couple of bricks, and this is a creature. Yikes! Needs to be a lightning strike here. Oh, yep. We're pretty dead here. I also feel like the Yarok deck has a pretty good grindy matchup. And people really love playing bad grindy decks, so having a deck that just like always goes over the top of them seems ideal. Okay, remember we were 1 win away from Mythic? We're probably not hitting Mythic today. Yeah. Yeah, that game slipped away when they hit the 7th land. Yeah, seems great. That match was a great example of what we're talking about too, right? Like game 1, game 2, short and not memorable when we won. Game 3, long and drawn out, miserable with our opponent like hammering us into the dirt. He's dead, Jim. You've killed him. Alright, I just need to prepare everyone. If this opponent casts a main deck Cry of the Canarium, I'm conceding the match and we're going to play some Warhammer to close up the stream today. I need to set the expectations to reasonable. The way the last 2 matches have gone, it feels like we're about to get main deck cried. And Grath Rampage. That one not so good against us. Alright, we're over the hump. Let's go. Again, short and brutal. Short and brutal when you win. That was a new animation on Grath Rampage. Love it. I wonder if they added... Speaking of 30 to 50 feral hogs, I wonder if they added an animation for what's it called yet? If they added an animation for the big pig that floops and gives 2/2. All right, so they're playing Mardu stuff. No, not Larig. The one that not Craterhoof Behemoth. Razor Boar. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, Forerunners, get them. Alright, so I think I'm going to trim a couple Grim Innates. Because they probably have Cry post-board. I'm bringing these Duresses. I don't know exactly how creature-based they are. This may or may not be wrong. Mardu Angels. Could be this deck. So because I drew a second Duress, I'm going to lead on Duress on one here. Dreadhorde Butcher looking real bad here. Duress also looking mediocre. Turn 2's probably going to be like land Dreadhorde Butcher pass. I assume this Duress is about to miss. Wow, okay, deal. Well, if we draw a land, this Chandra is going to be really good. That's not a land, but it's an answer to one of these Lyras. Magic the Gathering is an incredibly low variance game where both players make meaningful decisions. I've seen people cut the 23rd land from this deck, and let me tell you this, those people are crazy. Don't cut lands from this deck, chat. Don't cut lands from this deck. Animation is so good. All right, I really need a red source here. If we hit a red source, we're probably still in this game. Wait, this card's not an angel? Seriously? I just assumed this card was an angel. How was that? As a miserable bit of luck. What are the odds that happened? We kept a 2-lander. So there were 53 cards in my deck. There were 21 lands in my deck. There were down to 46 cards. We went 7 turns. We were 97.8% to find a 3rd land by turn 7 there. Yeah, Noxious Grasp sounds great. Duress does not. I don't know if I want Tibalt. I think I'd rather just have more ways to kill their angels. I might want Legion's End. Legion's End cleans out... Legion's End cleans out Tithe Taker nicely, which is great. It also clears Bishop, yep. Gets rid of Spirit tokens. Sweet. I might regret this. If they have Tithe Taker on 2, I regret that. Wow, they left in Angrath Rampage against us. That seems, let's call it bold. It's a bold decision. Alright, don't Clary on me. Please. Please don't Clary on me. Deal. Alright, really want to draw a 1-drop here. Lava Coil. Feeling pretty okay. Yeah, I can fit anything else in here with my foot. What do you think? You think my mouth is full? I feel like my mouth is full and I can't fit anything else in here. Alright, Bontu is lethal. Removal spells are good, Bontu is good. Alright, that was an exceptionally unfortunate run. Are we back down to Diamond 1? Back down to Diamond 2? I'm gonna wrap on Magic for today. That was a rough beat of variants. I'm gonna wrap up with, I'm gonna play a little bit of the Warhammer TCG for a little bit that I played at Gen Con that I've been enjoying. So if you wanna hang out for something new and different for a little bit, feel free to hang out. Otherwise, I'll be back with more Magic the Gathering tomorrow morning about 7 a.m. Central Standard Time. So thanks everyone. Thanks everyone for hanging out. I'm gonna get that loaded up here real quick. Wonderful sponsor logo here for a second. If you haven't played the Warhammer card game before, it is a digital and paper card game. And one of the really things they do elegantly is any cards you buy in paper, you can scan into the digital app, so you get the same card that you get in paper in digital. So actually, I have one sitting here. So all the cards have this neat dotted border around the edges, and that edge is a unique code for each individual card that tells it which card gets scanned into the app. So you don't have to buy your cards twice if you don't want to, if you're gonna play both.